Hello, everyone. By the wonders of new technology or whatever, I am live. Can I do like that? No, I need to stay like this. Okay. Okay. So I did a live Q&A thing not that long ago. It went pretty well, and I just felt like getting on here and talking a little bit. Apparently, there's going to be a storm outside, and hopefully that doesn't break in through the glass doors. But if anyone has a question, feel free to let me know. I don't think anyone's joined yet. Maybe no one will join. We'll see. So, that being the case, I might just talk a bit about something that I was kind of learning about this week, which is some of the definitions of health and the definition of a healthy life. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in hearing me talk about, or you can, if you want to ask a question, I'm happy to answer anything. But I'm going to be here for a while, and I'll do whatever you want. Happy to hear and listen to you share. Thank you so much, Night Sky. I'm live here, and cool. Let me show you. This is my nutrition at the moment. So I don't know if you know Night Sky, but I am a raw vegan. I'm actually a fruitarian right now, technically. And the last 95 days, today is day 95 of eating just mangoes. Today is day 95 of eating just mangoes. So a lot of people think that that would not be possible. How is that possible? To eat just one fruit when we're told we need to eat a balanced diet. Now, let me be clear. I don't necessarily, especially before I did this, I did not ever. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Good to see you. Looking forward to seeing you soon. I did not ever recommend to people to do a mono diet at any time. But it's kind of changed my mind a little bit, this experience. The Melon Maiden. Very good. It'd be good if you hang about, Rachel. Maybe there'll be some questions that you can answer as well. And I would never have really, the reason that I wouldn't have recommended something like a mono diet, especially for so long, is I don't like people restricting themselves and seeing this diet as something about restriction and almost like holding back or holding off or punishing yourself. And that's not what it should be about, you know. And it shouldn't be about limiting yourself or any of that stuff. And I also think that a lot of people can go too far with restriction. And with everything, they end up taking things to the absolute extreme. There's a lot of people that take things to the extreme and keep on going and keep on going and keep on finding a new extreme. And it's almost like they want to find a place that someone else hasn't done or something. You know, they want to push past, you know, they want to do a 40-day water fast, but then they hear someone did a 41-day, so they want to do a 42-day or something. And those kind of extremes are not good, because what we don't want is to do these extremes. What we want to be with our health, with staying healthy, is within the comfortable range. That's really where we want to be. Now, what we want to be is extreme in terms of what other people are doing. We want to be extremely different from what other people are doing. But that just puts us within where the normal range of health should be, just by staying away from the foods, the habits, the addictions, and all that lead people away from their health. Feel free to ask any questions as we go along. But I was concerned that by doing this mango thing, that it would inspire other people to go towards extremes that they were not themselves comfortable with. I'm fairly comfortable with doing this. I know how to do the raw vegan diet in a number of different ways. I know for me what I feel is the best way of doing it. The low fat raw vegan diet, mostly fruit, big salads. I think that's the best way of doing it in general. But this mango mono diet has changed things a lot for me. And I'm kind of blown away by the simplicity of it. Now, listen, nothing majorly has changed. I don't feel exceptionally healthier. I don't feel exceptionally more energy or more healed or more anything. I don't really feel those things. But I just like how simple it is. There's no thought really going into what you're going to eat and all that kind of stuff. It's just so simple. It's so beautifully simple. That's what I like about it. So I'm on 95 days. I don't feel any detriment. I don't feel any bad side of it. And I might just keep it going. Now, is it right for everyone to do this? I would be concerned that if some people tried to do this, because there is a lot of people who go to extremes. The reason that it's a problem, the reason I wouldn't necessarily, if I was coaching someone, I would maybe do it and I would make sure they were doing it right. If I'm not directly working with someone, I don't know if I can recommend them to do a mono diet. And the reason is this: the key mistake that people make in the raw vegan diet is they don't, and you've heard me say this a million times if you watch my videos, they don't eat enough calories. It's one of the major mistakes. If you go to just fruit, your chance of under-eating is even higher. Is much higher if you're just eating fruit. If you're eating a raw vegan diet with a variety of things, you're more likely to eat enough calories. But if you're eating just fruit, you're more likely to eat less calories. The reason for that is fruit is basically a completely unstimulating food. And so you have to completely, someone who's new to this has to change the way they look at food and how they eat and how they're signaled to eat. And it's very easy for people to feel like their body is not asking them to eat because the signals are different for when to eat and how much to eat. Okay? Feel free to ask any questions about anything if you like, feel free. Or any comments. Tell me I'm wrong, whatever. So people undereat a lot. And if they were to just go on fruit, they're likely to undereat and they're likely to fall off the diet, especially with guys, especially with men, boys, males. I've often found that there's a lot of men who actually have that discipline to go 100% raw, have the mindset to do it, whatever it is, and do it quite quickly. Once they've made up their mind or whatever, they end up doing it. But if they don't do it right, they're likely to lose weight. And if you don't realize that and notice it and realize that you need to eat more, basically, you're going to lose weight and lose weight and lose weight. And for a lot of men, that's not the positive experience that it is for a lot of women, because a lot of women are actually struggling to lose weight. But a lot of men come into this actually don't necessarily have a lot of weight to lose, and they end up losing weight anyway. So there is a guy who did a 6-month mango diet. So he went way beyond me, did 6 months, just mangoes. But his weight dropped to the point that his ribs were all sticking out, his hips were sticking out. It was that kind of emaciated look. That's not good. I don't care what people say. A lot of people say this thing like, you start off, you go on a fruitarian diet, you lose all the weight, and then you build it all back up. You don't need to do that. yes, you should lose weight to a healthy degree, but you don't need to lose all your body fat and then try and build it up again. There's no need to do that. A lot of people do that. I think mistakenly, or maybe that is the body. Maybe the body wants that. I only really believe 100% now that I've been on this Mongo diet, on the Mongo diet. Now, now I'm on the Mongo diet. That's probably politically incorrect to say that, but the Mongo diet is making me realize that only on a Mongo diet or any kind of mono diet, I think your body really is able to really tell you how much exactly it needs to eat. I think if you eat a diet of very different things, you have to. I don't think it'll ever be an exact science like that. I think if you're just eating one food and you had the experience to really tap into your you know your ability to know how much you need to eat, you can really know on a mono diet that you're eating enough or not. Um, that's kind of thought. That's kind of something I'm thinking about. But so many people undereat. The guy who did the 6 month, I think he was called the Mangotarian. He did 6 months on mangoes. He went down to a very low weight, and then he kind of started to put on the weight again. But I believe that he put on the weight with cooked food, with additional cooked foods. So he maybe kind of gave up on the idea that he could sustain or build his weight with fruit. And I would disagree with that. But it's because they've not learned how to eat enough. They've not trained themselves. And that's the biggest problem, is that people can't learn to eat enough. And they end up losing weight and losing weight. And also he was wanting to fast and cleanse, and he came from the fasting, cleansing, detoxification side of it. And I want to say, if I could address the whole raw vegan model, that this is a backward step. That what has become a big mindset in the movement is detoxification, cleansing, healing, fasting. This is, to me, it's not the thing to focus on, but it's a bad thing that within the whole movement that has become such a prevailing philosophy and idea, that the focus is on detoxification, fasting, healing, cleansing. To me, the focus should be on the lifestyle. It should be on building a healthy lifestyle that allows you to do all the things that you want to do and be healthy and avoid disease and have lots of energy and feel your absolute best that you possibly can, which is what the raw vegan diet promises. And very few people get there, unfortunately, it seems. Very few people get to the point, the freedom, the abundance, the energy that a raw vegan diet can give them. That fantastic foundation of life, foundation of health that it can give a person, a lot of people aren't getting there. A lot of people aren't getting there. They come in the door, they get bamboozled with information. If they make it beyond the first few weeks or months of giving this a try and they're still interested and they're still going, they still struggle with it. They still struggle to stay raw. They still struggle to do it right. And then everyone's telling them that they should be like, everyone confuses them. Try this out, try that out, do it this way, do it that way. But within the detoxification side of things, people are just plain doing the whole lifestyle incorrectly, plain have the wrong thoughts about it. And it's the same thoughts that made people fail on a raw food diet for years and years and years and years, even the leaders of the movement, even the people writing the books and lecturing and running events and all those things. Most of those guys didn't do a raw food diet consistently. Most of them, unfortunately, weren't able to do it. And they certainly weren't able to show other people how to do it. That's always been the problem. And it's because mostly that the type of diet that people were doing, hi Manal Kundu, creating a sustainable long-term fruit diet seems key. Thank you, Night Sky. So if we look into the history of the raw food diet and lifestyle, we see different people come in and out, in and out, in and out. What's Nurple Twister? You know, we see a lot of people come in and out, right? Even in the last 10 years, the person that, two of the people that inspired me the most, Harley Johnson, Durian Rider, Tim Van Orden, Running Raw. I don't think either of them are raw anymore. I don't think, well, I know Harley isn't. I don't think Tim is. He definitely wasn't in the last few years as far as I was aware. By which I mean 100% raw. I'm only talking about 100% raw here. Not that they've not benefited from it, not that they don't have a high raw diet, not that they don't take a lot from the health principles and philosophies they learned. But, okay, so we're getting some questions in now, so I'll switch a little bit because I'm getting a few questions. Let me open up these questions. Renal Kundu says, out on a cheap fruit brine spree at the moment. Good luck with that. Let us know what you find. Monica's saying, during your mango mono meal days, are you having any other kind of fruit juices during the day or just sticking to water? Just water and mangoes. And very rarely do I do smoothies or mango juice. In fact, I don't do any juice. No mango juice. I just eat mangoes. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing, just eating mangoes, and I have water. The resort that I'm in actually brings bottles of water down, so I like those, put them in the fridge. So just water. I would say as well, occasionally swimming in the ocean, although I feel like I've not swam in the ocean in quite a while, so maybe a little bit of salt water. But whether that makes a difference, I'm not sure. But I mean, I've not been in the ocean for quite a while, really. And Jonna's saying, good to see you, Jonna. By the way, congratulations to you. I saw a ring on your finger on Facebook. Congratulations. Would love to be able to get to your wedding, but I'm guessing it's on the other side of the world. Or see footage of it or your pictures or whatever. Follow it. Do you think you get all the nutrients you need from only mangoes? That's a good question. Like, I'm not. So I went on and I looked, and one of the things that was missing was cysteine or something. But then I looked into that further, and that actually gets converted from something else. Basically, kind of, is the best answer. So on a raw vegan diet, the suggestion in a raw vegan diet is that everyone's low in B12. If you're on a raw vegan diet 100%, if you go in for a long period of time, if you don't supplement with B12 and you go to get your blood tested, it's likely to turn up you're low in B12. You're clinically low in B12. Regardless of whether you have any symptoms of B12 deficiency, you will show up as being low in B12 in relation to whatever those figures are. I've not had a test for B12. I don't take deep B12 supplementation. It's not something that I don't take seriously. I just haven't done it yet, and I would be surprised if I come up as low in B12. I have zero symptoms of B12 deficiency, but I wouldn't be surprised if I come up low in B12. So mangoes probably don't, or whatever, supply you B12, whatever. Vitamin D comes from the sun. And but in terms of all the other nutrients, pretty much all of what the other nutrients require, proteins, obviously carbohydrates you can get from mangoes in the form of sugars. Yes, mangoes have the essential fats that you need, omega-3 and omega-6. Whether there's enough, you could question that. Maybe there's not enough, but it certainly has them. all the proteins are in mango that you require, and all the B vitamins and the minerals. So you've got all of these things, just not necessarily in the numbers required by the RDA, recommended daily allowance. So the question then goes, how much should we be aiming to hit that recommended daily allowance all the time? But the way that I look at this, whenever people say to me, well, that's an extreme diet, and how do you know you're going to get enough on mangoes and all that stuff? I say to them, listen, there are people in this world. You can go on YouTube. There are people who all they eat is. There's a guy who all he eats is macaroni cheese. That's all he's eaten for like. He gets sick if he tries to eat anything else. Macaroni cheese. There's someone, I think that it's like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's all they eat. There's someone that only eats like uh, pizza, one specific type of pizza. There are there are people called fussy eaters. For years, some of these people eat these what you would think of a pretty crazy diet. No fruits and vegetables, no like no fresh food, and they survive for long periods of time. Maybe their health's declining potentially, but they survive. And then if you look at the normal world that we're all in, there's so many people on a terrible diet for decades and decades and decades. So my rationale is, can I do just a diet of mangoes for, a few months? I totally have confidence that anyone can do that and have no harm. In fact, probably benefits. And and also there's a man that ate potatoes for a year. So because of that, do I feel like I can do mangoes? I really believe that almost anyone could do mangoes, bananas, whatever fruit for 1 or 2 years, maybe longer. Now that would go against what some of our teachers have told us. When I got into the raw vegan diet, I definitely asked myself the question, or was looking to ask the question, can people do a fruitarian diet? And I'll just get back to this point. So thanks, Philippe. Just passing by to say thank you. That's very kind. Greetings from Brazil. Nice, nice. I'm about 80% raw and progressing. Fantastic, fantastic. Hope you're having a good time out in Brazil. Um, so, Jonah, thanks for reading the book. I really love your feedback and let me know how I can improve it and stuff. It'd be good to interview you again, Jonah, for the podcast whenever you're ready for that. What was I going to say? So my teachers, Dr. Doug Graham, one of them, he said, cannot do a fruitarian diet. Doesn't work. That he's seen people try it. Doesn't work. Dr. Rick and Karen Dina, they don't recommend it. They don't think people can do it. But then Anne Osborne is doing it for 28 years. So when I was at events with those teachers, I'm seeing Doug saying that, I'm seeing Anne saying one thing, and at times I've followed a fruitarian diet for a while, and kind of was happy with it. But initially wasn't really able to sustain my weight doing it. But the only thing really that in the last few years that I do add some nuts and seeds occasionally, but not that often. But I would add in some lettuce, and the rest of my diet was basically fruit. Tomatoes, bananas, grapes, apples, just fruits, and a little bit of greens. But I am absolutely happy to have a salad. I'm absolutely happy to have greens. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a philosophical, ethical issue with eating vegetables, as some fruitarians might. Anne is a good example of a fruitarian. There's not a lot of other good examples of 100% fruitarians. And I think a lot of that is because people like the variety in the diet, and I think they like more savoury flavours. So there's not a lot of people that just eat fruit. But Doug would say that he saw people die trying to eat just fruit. you know. Um, and he told us stories of numerous people that came to him and said, I'm living on oranges. I'm living on, there was one guy apparently living on tomatoes. Another guy was living on watermelon. Now, I know for sure, and Doug knows for sure, none of those people were probably eating enough fruit eat to sustain their weight. But they were all gonna. But he said that one of them had lost all his teeth. He said another one was so skinny that he was like he called him a spider person or something, whatever that means. Um, but you know, I despite that, I see Anne Osborne and I've seen people, and I just think it doesn't chime right for me that we're saying to people that this raw vegan diet is great, but if you miss out on this one component of it, it's really dangerous and you can die. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. That our ancestors would like be in some forest somewhere, and if they could just get fruit, that they would die or something. Like that this doesn't make any sense. They would get a mineral deficiency. Like that just seems so unlikely to me. But let's get back to the nature part of this. When you're talking about, well, can you do a mono mango diet and all that? Let's just look at animals. You know, look at the primates. And I get that they have varied diet technically, but a lot of them would actually choose fruit most of the time if they had access to it. In a similar way to many animals would choose one type of food most of the time. And it's not that we're mono eaters. We're not designed to be mono eaters. But is there really that much variation in all the different fruits? You know, if you just lived on one fruit, would it be that much different? And then are the greens really supplying that much minerals? Like, is that really the key thing? Because to me, like a lot of greens aren't, aren't particularly flavorful, aren't particularly attractive. But I do like them as part of a salad and stuff like that. So I do like to think. Any questions here tonight? Anyone got any questions? But I do like to think that it's not a worry. That's my key with that's the only thing I want to prove with doing this mono diet. People shouldn't worry about it. I do think you should eat a varied raw vegan diet with many flavors, many fruits, many vegetables, and all the things that you want to enjoy that are healthy, wholesome, goodness, fresh. I do agree with that. I believe that. But I don't want people to get scared about the idea that, well, that if you've got a problem in the diet, it's always that you're not having enough vegetables. You know, it's always a lack of minerals. That's where I want to get to the second point, which is that all of that stuff, the fear of like not enough nutrients, not enough nutrients, the fear of that is so overblown. Not enough, not enough. Because we're humans and we're an animal, so we have a fear of starvation. Starvation was in our, not that far back, people suffer starvation. Right now, people are like a billion people, it's an outrageous number of people are malnourished because of a lack of not enough food. And that is the biggest deficiency. Let's get rid of all these ideas of all these other deficiencies that don't happen. They simply do not exist. Even people on bad diets. People are on terrible diets. Just look around you. People are on terrible diets. People have talked to me about how they're getting on a healthy lifestyle, and then I see them smoking cigarettes, drinking beers. But people have this perception of what health they think healthy lifestyle is. It usually means exercise, which is one aspect of it, right? But people have these ideas, of of health, of healthy living, and it doesn't match reality at all. But we get worried about thinking that we've not got enough nutrition when everyone else is just throwing their health out the window. You got to realize if you looked out, if health was an actual commodity that you could hold in your hand, most people are throwing theirs out the window, flushing it down the toilet, you know, they're just throwing it away. Now it takes a while because you'd start off with so much of it, hopefully. So it takes a while to get rid of it, but I can just imagine visualizing looking outside and everyone's just throwing their health out the window. Like everyone's a billionaire and they're just throwing money out the window. You know, like they've got an infinite supply of water coming in, so they just chuck it out the window. You know, that's what I see. And I'm here like trying to hold on to it a little bit. You know, some of it's escaping all the time, but I'm trying to hold on and I'm putting the bucket out, trying to catch some. Can I get some more health? Can I buy some more? You know, when I went to the Woodstock Fruit Festival 8 times. That's only five. 8 times. Work out how much that cost. One of those years was a double year, 2 weeks. That's at least $8,000. But that's not how much it was. It was because it's often been more than that, right? But let's say it's $8,000. What's my flights or whatever and all that extra stuff? 8,000, 16,000 in total with all the flights, all the other. But that's conservative estimate. I'm making it conservative numbers, right? Um, Time lost, whatever. There's other things to add in here. Opportunity costs. You could build that up, but that's a lot of money. And I was not. I still don't earn a lot of money. Barely earn any money, but 16,000, right? How do I justify that? How do I justify going back to that event time after time to continue to learn and be part of it and be part of that energy and all that? How do I justify that? To me, it was an investment in my health, in my life. It was a place I could go and put out that bucket and catch a whole pile of health and actually get just health and energy and vitality just dumped on me in a massive quantity. I That's what I felt. And I would turn up at that event and I would just feel like, and other events, because that's not the only one. So the actual amount of money I spent on going to events and stuff was a lot more. But that's where I learned, you know, that's how I worked out how to do this. That's where I met the people, the teachers, that I could sit around and be with and listen to and talk to and ask questions and be physically with them and watch them eat and watch what they were doing. And it was difficult because a lot of them seemed to be hiding what they were doing. So it took a while to like figure out what they were doing. But and I don't know if I can get to the Woodstock Fruit Festival this year, but it's been a seminal experience in my life, a formative experience. Because it's that environment, that place. This isn't a video trying to promote events or Woodstock or the Fruit Festival, but for me, that investment in going there, being part of it, I look back on it as that will, I believe, extend my life. That's how I look at it. I literally look at it like that. I believe every time I've been to that event, I've extended my life. That's how I feel. And maybe that's completely wrong, but I feel like that's the dividend of health or whatever you want to call it in that investment. Like that is what I get back from it. A week of relaxation, of fantastic food, of exercise, of building a positive mindset and philosophy, of meeting fantastic people that keep you inspired. That was worth so much to me. And I believe that it's one of the best uses of my time and money I've ever made and that I ever will make, because it really set me up for life health-wise, going to those events and the ones in, and just the fact that I loved them so much. I was so passionate about them. Like, I followed my passion. That was my passion. I was passionate about it and I followed it. And I am glad that I did that. I'm proud of myself that I did that. And all of that is fantastic for me, I think, for the rest of my life. The fact that I did that. And it's, but you have to do the things that are an investment in your health. For me, tens of thousands, like if I really look at it, tens of thousands of pounds going to events over time, not in one go, but over time, it stacks up. You know, do I think it was worth it? Absolutely, absolutely, totally. I mean, if you said to me, Ronnie, I'll give you uh, £50,000, but you don't have but you never went to those events. You never had the benefits. You don't have the friends. You don't have the life experiences. You don't have all the things that happened. I wouldn't even take 100,000, 200,000. I don't know. Probably at some point I would take the money, but like, well, actually, I don't know if I would at any price, because that's been such an important part of my life, right? And I really like Jonna was on this. I don't know if she's listening anymore, but Jonna was here a while back,